actually, my first exposure to decision analysis was as an undergrad at Stanford, where I took Ron Howard's class. And it just always kind of made sense to me, seemed intuitive. I sometimes say that I am a decision analyst by religion. And I don't mean by that that I'm like a fanatic decision analyst and object to all other methods or anything like that, but more just that it's kind of part of my worldview, just the way I see things. And so actually most of my career has been really in risk analysis on the probabilistic side of decision making. I worked for a consulting company in the nuclear power industry for 7 years. And since going back to academia, have worked on nuclear power safety and also homeland security. Again, a lot of probabilistic modeling, but with that decision analysis flavored to it always. So,
who are some of the people that you feel have influenced you during your career and you have learned from?
So, in addition to Ron Howard, my advisor was one of Ron's students, Al Drake at MIT. So when I teach stochastic processes, I always introduce my students to the idea of academic genealogy, that studying with me, they get a little bit different flavor of stochastic processes than studying with somebody else who comes out of a different school of thought. On the Homeland Security side, certainly Detlev von Winterfeldt has been a huge influence both on my thinking, but also on the opportunities that were opened up as a result of my working with him on CREATE and Homeland Security problems. The other person that I guess I would cite, which is a very brief interaction, but was a big learning experience. I still remember when I was in graduate school, Ralph Keeney gave a talk on risk attitude, risk aversion, and multiple fatality accidents. And there was some comment he made, I can't remember exactly what it was, and I was brave and raised my hand and said, wouldn't that be comparing apples and oranges? And he kind of said, Vicki, that's the whole point of decision analysis. So that was a big learning experience, that one moment.
Yeah. This is, where do you see the field, has the field changed since you started working in it? Do you see it going in different directions, new applications in the future? And
good point. So I do think it's changed a lot. I think some of the earliest folks like Ron Howard and Ralph Keeney, who really did lay the foundations for everything that came since then, kind of felt like, well, that's done, and now we can just use that. And I think some of my generation, people like Don Kleinmans and Gordon Hazen, realized that actually there's a lot of fine points that could still be not improved necessarily, but certain applications or certain types of problems where we can get a lot more insight that we haven't focused on yet, such as Don's work on decision analysis for portfolios. And so, after thinking all the questions were answered, maybe some of the questions were not answered yet. And certainly your work recently, a younger generation looking at, the online social media and that kind of stuff opens up a lot of opportunities. So.
Yeah, great. Do you have a message for newcomers into the field and how DAS can help, embrace newcomers? And you were also president of the Decision Analysis Society, so.
Well, I think one of the things that I have found really nice about being involved in DAS over the years is that it really is a pretty collegial group of people. I don't know that everybody gets along all of the time, but basically it's a pretty friendly, welcoming group. It's like having a big extended family. And that's been a big difference from some of my colleagues who say, oh, they hate going to their annual meeting every year because so many of the people are so unpleasant and obnoxious, and they just have to grit their teeth and put up with it. Whereas it's kind of like going to a wedding and running into a lot of long-lost relatives that you don't see that often, but it's, a really nice experience over the years. So I would just encourage people to come and not be bashful, get to know people in this society. So.
Well, thank you very much, Vicki.
Okay.
Heartfelt congratulations, and we definitely look forward for more collaborations with Decide and your thoughts and vision in the future.
Okay, great.